We were getting serious, late-night calls, weekend trips, even talked about moving in. Then I met her, his girl best friend. I didn't think much of it until she whispered, "I had him before you and I filmed it." My heart stopped. Why didn't he ever tell me? I wish I could say I had a gut feeling from the beginning. But the truth is, I really thought I'd found something special. I met him online. Random, I know, it wasn't some dating app or wild story. It was actually kind of wholesome. We were commenting on the same post in this philosophy forum, going back and forth about ethics of all things. He was funny, clever, respectful. And not in that fake, "I'm so enlightened" way that guys sometimes perform online. We started DMing, then FaceTiming, and eventually, we just kind of became something. A few months later, we made it official. He was 23, I'm 25, not a huge age gap or anything, but I've dated older guys before who made me feel like less. Like I needed to dumb it down, just to keep the peace. But with him, it wasn't like that. He listened. He paid attention to what I liked. He even remembered my coffee order by the second week. So yeah, I started falling. And for a while, it really felt like he was falling too. But then she started showing up. The girl best friend. I know how that sounds. I really do. And I'm not the jealous type, like, I've had guy friends my whole life. I get the whole just friends dynamic. But something about her just didn't sit right. She was everywhere. Every story he posted, she was in the background. Every time we had plans, she'd text last minute, asking him to swing by and help with her content, or some behind-the-scenes tech stuff. At first, I kept my mouth shut. Told myself I was being insecure. His sister even vouched for her, said they'd grown up together, and it was more like a brother-sister thing. But if that's what it was, why did she always touch him like that? Like always needing a hug, arms lingering around his neck. Sitting next to him on the couch, just a little too close. Once, I caught her straightening his collar and giggling like they were in a rom-com. I let it slide. Over and over. Because he'd look at me with those soft eyes and say, "It's not like that, babe. She's like family." And honestly, I wanted to believe him. I really did. But things started piling up. Like the way she'd always refer to him by these weird little nicknames. Sweetie. Bub. My little tech savior.
Gross.
Then there was the time she called him at 11 at night.
Crying.
Said she needed help fixing her camera for a shoot the next morning. He jumped out of bed like it was an emergency room call. And I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself I wasn't being crazy. But I felt crazy. His family didn't help either. They brushed everything off. His mom thought I was overreacting. His sister actually laughed when I brought it up. Said, "Oh, you'll get used to her. She's harmless." Harmless? It didn't feel harmless. Especially when I found out what she actually did for a living. Now, again, I'm not here to shame anyone. She's a content creator, right? That's how he described it. She does online stuff. Videos. Lifestyle brand stuff. That's what I was told. But one night, I was scrolling TikTok and one of her videos popped up. It was her all dolled up, doing some suggestive skit, and the link in her bio
took me to a paywall site.
Explicit content. I'll let you connect the dots. So yeah, she's not just some girl making makeup tutorials. Still, I tried to be mature about it. Told myself, okay, she has her job, he has his boundaries, we're all adults here. But it just kept getting worse. Every time I was around them together, it was like I didn't exist. She'd talk over me, touch his arm, make inside jokes I wasn't part of. He'd laugh along, almost like he forgot I was there. And the worst part? He didn't even notice. He thought I was just quiet or tired.
Nah.
I was hurt. And then it happened. The thing that made everything snap. We were at a birthday party. His cousins, I think. Big gathering. Lots of food, drinks, music, backyard lights strung up in the trees. And she was there, of course, wearing this tiny crop top, sticking to him like glue the whole night. I tried to stay cool. Sat with his mom for a while, helped clean up plates, anything to stay busy. But eventually, she cornered me in the kitchen. And I swear I was trying to be civil. But she looked me dead in the eye, smirked, and said, You know, it's cute how you think he's only yours. I froze. What's that supposed to mean? I asked. She shrugged. I had him before you. You're just temporary. He always comes back to me. Then, and I will never forget this, she leaned in and whispered. And I recorded it. You can see it on my page. I felt my stomach drop. My hands started shaking. She walked away like it was nothing, just smiled and rejoined the group like she hadn't just shattered my entire reality. I left the party without saying a word. Just texted him, told him I needed space.
He called.
A lot. Left voicemails. But I didn't answer. Not until 2 days later, when I finally felt stable enough to even ask the question. Did you sleep with her? Silence. Then a quiet. Yeah, but it was a long time ago.
Before you.
I didn't think it mattered. I could barely breathe. You didn't think it mattered that your best friend, who you see constantly, has a sex tape of you on the internet? He tried to explain. Said it was a mistake, that he was drunk, that it was before he even met me, that he's ashamed of it. But none of that helped. Not when she'd thrown it in my face like a trophy. Not when she still hugged him like she owned him. I told him flat out, if you want to be with me, she's out of the picture.
Done. Blocked.
No more contact. And that's when his family turned on me. His sister called me possessive. His mom said I was trying to isolate him. And he just sat there, silent, like he was stuck between two worlds. But I wasn't. I knew where I stood. I wasn't going to be the girl who pretended this was okay, who smiled and nodded while the girl who filmed him called herself his bestie. I deserve better. But the real question is, does he deserve me? After I gave him the ultimatum, I waited. Not for long. Just long enough to realize he was hesitating. And that told me more than any words ever could. Because when someone really wants to be with you, like, no games, no doubts, there is no pause.
No silence.
No, I'll figure it out. There's just action. But him? He looked at me with that same soft expression, the one I used to find comforting, and said, can we just talk about this? My stomach turned. He still didn't get it. I wasn't asking him to pick between two equal things. I wasn't asking him to leave his childhood dog on the side of the road. I was asking him to stop hanging out with a woman who humiliated me, who slept with him on camera, and who now flaunts that past like a trophy. And he was acting like I was asking him to cut off oxygen. So, yeah, that told me everything. I packed a small bag. Just essentials: phone charger, toothbrush, spare leggings. I didn't even grab my favorite hoodie. I told him I needed space. And I meant it. The next few days were weird. Emotionally messy. One second I was crying into my pillow. The next, I was rage texting a friend, venting about how blinded I'd been. Then back to missing him. Missing the version of him I thought I knew. It's a strange thing, grieving someone who's still alive. Especially when they keep calling. He left messages. Sent voice notes. Said he was thinking everything through. That he understood now. That she'd crossed a line and he was going to handle it. But I didn't respond. Not until I saw it with my own eyes. And what did I see instead? Her. Posting another video. This time not even subtle. It was a skit, supposedly, but the caption said, some things are better when you've already had a taste face blowing a kiss. The guy in the skit? Wearing a hoodie just like his. Same build. Same laugh in the background when she panned the camera. My jaw clenched. She was taunting me. Openly. Like this was some sick game, and I was the last one to realize I'd been drafted into it. So, I did something I probably shouldn't have. I sent her a message. I didn't curse. I didn't threaten. I just said, hope your followers enjoy living in your past. Must be sad, clinging to something that's already moved on. Petty? Maybe. But I was done playing nice. She replied in seconds. Moved on?
Babe.
He was in my apartment last week fixing my lights. You really think he's done with me? I froze. Last week, while we were together, I called him immediately. No more waiting. No more silence. He picked up on the second ring. Sounded tired. Maybe hungover. Hey, were you at her place last week? A pause. Then, yeah. She said something was wrong with her LED rig, and she didn't know who else to ask. I didn't even stay long. You still went over there? After everything? It wasn't like that. I didn't even go inside. You went. That's all that matters. I couldn't even speak. I just hung up. I knew if I stayed on the phone, I'd say something I couldn't take back. That night, I crashed at my friend's place. We watched dumb movies, drank boxed wine, and tried to laugh about it. But it didn't work. I kept picturing them, laughing together. Her touching his arm, him smiling. Was I always just a placeholder? Some convenient thing to hold while he kept chasing whatever thrill she gave him? The next morning, I got a knock on the door. It was him, disheveled, hoodie half-zipped, eyes puffy. He looked broken. I cut her off, he said. I stared.
What?
I told her I can't see her anymore, that she crossed every line, that if she ever contacts me again, I'm done. He pulled out his phone and showed me text screenshots, even a screen recording of him blocking her account.
I didn't know what to say.
It should have felt like victory, but it didn't. Because why did it take this much to get here? Why did he only do it after I pulled away? After she dragged me through the mud? Why didn't he choose me from the start?
He reached for my hand.
Please. I don't want to lose you. I was blind. I see it now. Everything. I'm so sorry. I didn't move. He kept talking. Said he was scared to lose the friendship, that she'd been in his life forever, and he didn't realize how much power she had over him. Said he was used to her. That's the word he kept using. Used to her. As if comfort was a reason to betray someone you supposedly love. Still, I heard myself say, okay. Because even after everything, some part of me still wanted to believe in the version of him that made me feel safe. The guy who remembered my favorite playlist.
Who brought me soup when I was sick.
Who kissed my forehead like it meant something. So we tried again. He deleted all her contacts. Unfollowed.
Blocked.
And for a little while things felt good again. He was more attentive. More present. We went on real dates. He started asking about me again. I told myself we'd made it through the worst. I wanted to believe it was over. But it wasn't. Not even close. Because what happens when you pull a toxic root but leave the soil poisoned? The real cracks hadn't even started yet. They were coming. And when they did, they shattered everything. It's not one big decision. It's a million little ones every single day. Every time his phone buzzed, and I chose not to ask who it was. Every time I saw someone with her haircut in public and forced myself not to flinch. Every time I caught him zoning out and told myself it was just stress. That was me, choosing to forgive. Over and over again. But somewhere deep down, I wasn't okay. Not really. There was this constant hum under my skin. Like static. Like I was waiting for something bad to happen, just bracing for it. It made me snappy. On edge. I didn't want to be that girl, you know? The insecure one. The one who couldn't let go. But trust isn't just something you decide to feel. It's either there or it's not. And no matter how hard I tried, mine had cracks all through it. Still, we kept going. We went on a weekend trip together, small Airbnb by the lake. It should have been perfect. The weather was gorgeous. We grilled. We danced barefoot in the living room. We even watched the stars like we were in a freaking indie movie. And yet, even then, there was this distance. Like he was trying too hard to act normal. Like he was trying to convince himself that everything was fine. I noticed little things. How he kept his phone on Do Not Disturb. How he suddenly got super private with his screens, angling his laptop away when I walked by. How he'd take longer in the shower, with the fan on full blast. None of it made sense. Unless you've been there before. Unless you know what someone hiding something looks like. And I knew. God. I knew. One night, while he was asleep beside me, deep, mouth slightly open kind of sleep, I reached for his phone. I hate that I did that. I wanted to be better than that. But something in my gut was screaming. And I've learned you don't ignore that voice. I opened his messages. Nothing. Then Instagram DMs. Still clean. But when I tapped on recently deleted, my heart stopped. There she was. 2 messages. Both from 2 weeks ago. Both after he said he cut her off. The first was from her. Just checking in. You looked upset last time I saw you. The second from him was what really broke me.
Please don't reach out again.
I told you this is hard enough already. Hard enough. Those 2 words destroyed me. Not, I'm happy. Not, leave me alone. Not, I love my girlfriend. Just hard enough. Like cutting her off was some kind of punishment. Like being with me was a sacrifice. I put his phone down and went straight to the bathroom. Locked the door. And I cried. Not the quiet, dramatic movie kind. The real, ugly, heaving kind. I saw everything clearly then. He never really let her go. Not emotionally. Not fully.
She was still in his head.
Still in his orbit. And I was just orbiting them. I didn't sleep that night. I lay there next to him, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I let myself believe this would work. The next morning, I didn't confront him.
Not yet.
I needed time to think. So I played it cool. Acted tired. Quiet. He asked if I was okay. I nodded. Smiled. He looked relieved. That hurt the most. That he was relieved I wasn't calling him out, not sorry. Not affectionate. Just relieved. I waited until we were home. Back in our space. Then I told him I saw the messages. His face went pale. I didn't respond. Not really, he said. You literally said it was hard to stop talking to her. I meant emotionally. As in history. Not that I miss her, just I didn't want to be cruel. She humiliated me. And you're worried about being cruel to her? He stammered.
Said he didn't mean it like that.
Said he still loved me. Said he was just trying to handle it delicately. I asked him one question. Do you still have feelings for her? Silence. Longer than it should have been. Then, I don't know. That was it. That was the end. Because I don't know is worse than yes. At least with yes, I could walk away knowing I was right to leave. With I don't know, it's like he's holding the door open, not for me, but for her. He begged me not to go. Said he'd fix it. Said he was just confused. But I'd heard enough. I left. Moved out. Blocked his number. Blocked hers too, even though she never messaged me again. Maybe she didn't need to. Maybe she knew she'd already won. Or maybe, just maybe, she wasn't the only villain in this story. Because what he did, letting it get that far, keeping me half in, half out, lying by omission, that wasn't love. That was cowardice. And I was done being collateral damage in his emotional tug-of-war. The truth? He never really chose me. He just liked that I was new.
But she?
She was familiar. She was his past, yeah, but also his comfort zone. And no matter how toxic that comfort was, he couldn't seem to let it go. Not really.
And now?
Now he has no one. Because I walked. And she? She moved on to someone else.
I saw it.
Months later, she posted a video.
New guy.
Same gimmick. Different hoodie. And just like that, she dropped him too. He reached out once. A long, emotional email. Apologizing. Saying he finally got it. That I was the only one who ever really saw him. But it was too late. Because by then, I'd finally started seeing myself. And I knew I deserved someone who chose me clearly, loudly, and without hesitation. Not someone who flinched when the past knocked on the door. Not someone who called love a burden. Not someone who said, I don't know. You don't wake up one day magically over it. There's no aha moment where the heartbreak vanishes and your confidence just floats back in. It's slower than that. Quieter. Lonelier. The first week after I left him felt like someone had ripped the floor out from under me. I kept reaching for my phone, out of habit, wanting to text him little things. Like when I saw a new place open up near the lake he used to talk about. Or when I found the candle scent we both liked. I'd unlock my phone. Start typing. Then remember, nope. He's not yours anymore. And even worse, he never really was. There's this grief that comes when the person you trusted turns into a stranger. But they still live in your memories, in your playlists, in the way you instinctively reach for 2 mugs instead of one. I didn't post about it online. Didn't make some big single now announcement. I didn't want sympathy. I didn't want people picking sides. I just wanted space to breathe. I moved back in with my sister for a bit. She gave me her spare room, tiny, cluttered, but safe. She didn't ask too many questions. Just let me cry when I needed to, laugh when I didn't, and vent when the silence got too heavy. I started journaling again. Something I hadn't done since college. It helped. Helped me untangle what had happened, not just with him, but with me. Because somewhere along the way, I stopped trusting myself. Every red flag I saw, I second-guessed it. Every gut instinct, I told myself I was being paranoid. But I wasn't. I was right. From the beginning. And that's the thing that stuck with me most. Not that he lied.
Not even that she was toxic.
But that I knew something was wrong. And still stayed.
So now?
I've made a promise to myself. The next time someone makes me feel like I'm overreacting, the next time I see something that doesn't add up, I'll listen to that inner voice, not shut it down. Because that voice, that's not insecurity. That's self-respect whispering through the noise. Months passed. He tried to contact me once, like I mentioned before, this long, rambling email. Said he was in therapy. Said he was learning to set boundaries. Said he realized how emotionally entangled he'd been with her and how unfair it was to drag me through that. He even apologized for what he called emotional cowardice. And I'll give him this. It sounded sincere. But I didn't respond. Because I didn't need to. Closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you build for yourself. One boundary at a time. One painful truth at a time. One quiet morning where you wake up and realize you haven't thought about them in days, and it doesn't hurt anymore. That happened to me last week, actually. I was making breakfast, humming to myself, barefoot in my apartment, my space, my peace. And I realized I was okay. More than okay. I felt free. Not the dramatic kind of freedom you post on Instagram with a cryptic caption, but the kind that lives deep in your chest, like fresh air in your lungs after holding your breath for too long. I still think about what could have been. Sometimes. But then I remember what was. And I know I made the right call. Because love, real love, doesn't come with secrets, shame, or I don't knows. It comes with clarity, with consistency, with respect. And next time I feel that, I'll know the difference. Because this time, I walked away with my dignity. I walked away whole. And the girl who let herself stay in the shadows while another woman played puppet master? She's gone.
Now?
I'm done settling for almost. Done pretending crumbs are enough. Done making excuses for people who can't figure out how to love me loudly. I don't need to compete with someone's past. I am enough, exactly as I am. And from here on out, if someone can't see that, they don't get a seat at my table. Not ever again. If you've ever had to choose between trusting your gut or trusting the one you love, you know how hard this gets. Hit subscribe for more stories just like this, real, messy, and unforgettable.